Let men have their preferences. All men have preferences. There is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong to me with a man having a preference. If a black man wants to marry a dark skinned black woman, amazing. If a black man wants to marry Becky, okay. If a black man wants to marry a light skinned chick, a short chick, a BBW, a thick chick, like let men have their preferences because the reality is they do. Men already have their preferences. It doesn't matter how much we argue or bicker or complain about it, men are going to keep their preferences. They are. And we aren't going to be able to change it. So it's like either we accept it and let it be what it is, or we complain about it and men continue to go on their way and select their preferences. Because here's the thing, women, we also have our preferences. There's just a culture that exists where we are allowed to express it. As a black woman, if I did a post and said, "Oh, I want a man that's 6 foot and at least he at least makes $100,000 because hey, I have a bachelor's and I did this and I did that," most women would be like, "Yeah, girl, you better not settle for less. God has the best for you, girl. You know, you deserve A, B, C, X, Y, and Z." If I literally did a post today and said that and was like, "This is the man that I want him to look this way, make this amount of money," or if I wanted to be maybe not make this amount of money, have this kind of job, nobody would ever say anything. No woman would check me. No woman would check me. But have that be a dude. Have that be a dude to be like, yeah, I'd like a woman who's no, no taller than 5'5". I really like natural hair, or I love braids, or yada yada. He puts anything out there, then he's either futurist, colorist, he's misogynist or misogynoir. He don't love his mama. He don't love women. All this kind of different stuff, and I'm like, come on. We both have preferences. Stop. Let them have their preferences. Because whether or not we like it or not, or agree or not, they're going to continue to have preferences. You cannot change heterosexuality. You cannot do it. It's not going to happen. So either men are going to openly express their preferences and choose, or they are going to quietly move with their preferences and choose. But either way, they're going to have it. We can't change it. And the reality is, women also have preferences. And that's okay. Now, yes, there are people who are self hating. Yes, there are people who, because they don't like themselves, because they don't like their mama, because they don't like who they are, they go and choose things that don't look like them. Yes, that is a real thing. I will not deny that. But those people, like I said, those people need to be dealt with individually. They need to have their own. They need to have their own come to Jesus moment, if you will. They need to deal with their own self hate. You know what I mean? Like, but even still, if that's what's motivating them, if self hate was motivating them, a person can't change that. That has to be a personal thing. And also, my personal opinion is that self hate is so often more checked among, well, yeah, I think self hate is more often checked among black men, among black women. At least when it comes to preferences. Now, when other things we could argue yay or nay, but when it comes to preferences, one is so quick to pin down a man and say he's self hating because he likes this. But like I said, if a black woman, if I came up and said, hey, I really like a man with some, I love me a Brad with some blue eyes, or I like them light skin, whatever, or I like a man with good hair. No one would ever check me as somebody being self-hating. That would literally never happen. That would not happen. Ever. It wouldn't happen. So that's what I'm saying. We're being hypocrites when it comes to that kind of stuff. And to me, the bigger issue is this. What does it matter that a person has a preference that does or does not look like you? What does it matter? Because if you are truly secure in yourself as a woman, if you know as a woman that God don't make no mistakes, who you are is who you are, and there's value and purpose in it, then you really won't care that some random rapper on the other side of the country that you'll probably never meet slept with an IG model. You really won't care about that. And to me, as I said before, the only reason there's such a obsession with some of the preferences of the top probably 2% is because it triggers some of us. I think it triggers some of us to believe that, see, these men don't want us. The men that we want don't want us back, or these black men don't want us, all the different things. And all we have to do is look at the data. All we have to do is look at the stats, and we will find out that black men, at the end of the day, really do prefer to be with their own women. They really do. If that was the case, then they wouldn't be marrying at a higher percentage than black women, and they wouldn't be marrying black women at an 85% rate. They wouldn't be doing that. They wouldn't be doing that. So while yes, there are men who date and marry out, there's a majority of them, the preference really is black women. So like, let's just stop with the weird lies. And let's just get to the root issue. Many of us don't like who we are. Many of us don't know how to deal with the self-hating narrative that we have. And of course, I'm not saying this is all of us, but this is many of us. And I say this as a black woman who has who's even held on to some of these ideas, and I didn't even really know it. Like I personally had to be like, oh wow, I didn't know I was believing that about myself. Oh wow, I didn't even know. But I think that is why it is such a trigger point. And I hope to start to actually have real honest conversations about what's going on, have real honest conversations about some of the things that us women are saying to ourselves internally, some of the conversations we're having with ourselves self-consciously versus just hyper focusing on somebody else, focusing on what this person is doing, that person is doing, that celebrity is doing, and using it as an excuse or as an escape from the reality within, from the reality of of our life, of what we are experiencing, of what we are living, because that reality is the only thing that's really going to impact you, and that reality is the only thing that gives you the ability to be happy if you deal with it. But if you don't, like I said, and we just waste our time getting caught up in all these silly topics that don't really mean anything. I mean, they may be entertaining. I guess it could be entertaining to talk about what a celebrity does behind closed doors at night, maybe. But I'm like, okay, but what does that have to do with your life? How is that impacting you? How are you doing better? How are you, like, why is that such a concern? I don't know. That's just those are just my thoughts, though.